Have you ever met a man who made you feel like you were the most special woman in the world? Someone who looked at you like he truly saw you, understood you, and treated you like the most valuable person in his life, or at least that's how he made it seem. After listening to this story, you'll never look at those perfect men the same way again. Because sometimes the biggest predators hide behind the most charming masks. And if you don't know the techniques they use, you could fall into the same trap I did. This isn't just a love story. This is a manipulation masterclass. And unfortunately, I was an unwilling student. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm 28 years old, and I'm about to tell you about the darkest period of my life. How my boss Michael systematically hunted me down, made me feel like the center of the universe, and then completely destroyed me. I live in Boston, and I'm a marketing specialist. After graduating from Northwestern University, I landed a job at my dream company, Tech Vision Inc., one of the city's most prestigious tech firms. It was a 40-story skyscraper on the 35th floor, with glass offices and modern design, a total corporate dream. Up until that point, my life was pretty normal. I had friends from college, I did yoga, spent weekends walking around small art galleries in Cambridge. I was a confident, independent woman. I was financially stable with clear career goals. My romantic life, however, well, that's where I wasn't so lucky. I'd had a few relationships in college, but nothing serious. Maybe I was too picky, or maybe I just hadn't found the right person yet. I think that's why I fell so easily for Michael's manipulation. My inexperience was the perfect advantage for him. My first 3 months at the company went pretty smoothly. My team lead Jennifer was very supportive. I got along well with my colleagues. I loved my job, creative campaigns, data analysis, client presentations. Every day brought a new challenge. I knew Michael Davidson too, of course. The general manager, 40 years old, Harvard Business School graduate, always perfectly dressed, custom-tailored suits, expensive watches, confidence oozing from every pore. When he walked into a room, literally everyone's posture would change. But back then, he was just a distant figure to me. Everything started that Tuesday morning. I was getting on the elevator with my Starbucks coffee, feeling super stressed because I had my first major presentation for Johnson & Partners that day. The elevator came, the doors opened, and Michael was inside. Under normal circumstances, I would have said good morning and stood quietly in the corner. But that day was different. "You're Sarah, right?" he said with genuine interest. His voice was deep and confident. "From marketing. Jensen talks about you a lot." I was surprised. Not only did he know who I was, but he also knew what my manager had been saying about me. "Yes, that's me," I said, a bit nervous. "I actually have a presentation today." His eyes literally sparkled. "Excellent. What project are you presenting?" I told him about Johnson & Partners' rebranding campaign. He listened so attentively, like every word I said was gold. Most people fake listening, but Michael was different. He asked questions, gave insights. "That's a very innovative approach," he said thoughtfully. "I appreciate this kind of creative thinking. I'm sure it'll be an outstanding presentation." The elevator stopped at the 12th floor, my floor. As the doors opened, he turned around. "Sarah, I'll be curious to hear how it goes. Maybe we can grab coffee sometime and discuss it." At that moment, my heart rate went through the roof. The company's general manager wanted to have coffee with me. Walking to my desk, my legs were slightly shaking. Jennifer came over to me. "Sarah, are you okay? You look flushed." "Mr. Davidson we talked in the elevator. He knows about my presentation." Jennifer raised an eyebrow. "That's unusual. He doesn't usually pay attention to individual projects at our level." Red flag number 1. But at the time, I interpreted it as romantic special attention. The presentation went really well. The client was impressed. Jennifer was proud. Team members were giving me congratulations. My confidence was through the roof. The next morning, when I got to my desk, there was a Starbucks cup sitting there. Same brand and flavor I always order. There was a handwritten note on it. "Yesterday's presentation was flawless. This coffee is a small celebration of your success. Looking forward to that conversation, MD." My heart skipped a beat. Not only had he remembered my presentation, but he had somehow learned my coffee preference too. This was incredibly thoughtful. I drank the coffee with a smile. It tasted even better because there was thought behind it. In the following days, Michael started coming by frequently. Not in an obvious way, it always seemed casual, always professional, but the frequency was suspicious. "Sarah, how's your day going?" he would ask, sometimes giving advice about projects. In every conversation, he would bombard me with praise. "Your creativity is truly impressive," he would say. "This company needs fresh perspectives like yours. You have such a unique way of approaching problems. I wish I had more team members who think like you." These compliments literally made me soar. I felt valuable, special. A week later, there was a company-wide meeting. 50+ people in the conference room. During the presentation, I made a suggestion, something minor but thoughtful. Michael immediately interrupted. "Excellent point, Sarah," he said, turning to face the room. "This is exactly the kind of innovative thinking we need. Sarah, would you elaborate on that?" Suddenly, 50 pairs of eyes were looking at me. Michael was supporting me with his encouraging smile. "Please, everyone listen to Sarah's vision on this." In that moment, I was literally floating on air. Being recognized at this level, it was incredible. After the meeting, colleagues were making impressed comments, but Jennifer looked concerned. "Sarah, that was great, but it's unusual for Mr. Davidson to single out someone like that. Maybe he just appreciates good ideas," I said defensively. "Maybe," she said, but there was doubt in her voice. In the third week, his personal assistant, Sarah, confusing names, I know, called me to Michael's office. "Mr. Davidson would like to see you at 3 p.m. My heart rate immediately spiked. Had I made a mistake? Was something wrong? His office was on the 38th floor, executive level. The elevator ride felt eternal. His assistant smiled welcomingly. "Go right in. He's expecting you." Michael's office was breathtaking. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Boston Harbor. Antique mahogany furniture. Bookshelves lined with business classics and leadership books. The walls were covered with awards, certificates, photos with prominent business figures. "Sarah, please sit," he said warmly, gesturing to the leather chair across from his massive desk. But then he moved around the desk, sat on the edge, much closer to me. Casual but intimate positioning. "The reason I called you here," he began, his eyes locked on mine, "is to discuss your potential. The performance you've shown in 3 weeks is truly exceptional." My cheeks flushed red. "Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Please, call me Michael." He laughed softly. "Formalities aren't necessary between us." "Michael," I repeated, the name feeling strange on my tongue. "Sarah, I want to be transparent with you. This company has many talented individuals, but most just do their job and leave. You're different. You think strategically, you innovate." He was looking into my eyes so intensely, like he was reading my soul. "I see tremendous potential in you, but raw talent needs proper guidance to flourish." "What do you mean?" I asked, genuinely curious. "I'd like to personally mentor you, Sarah. Take your career to the next level, but this would be a special arrangement between us." My heart was pounding. The company's general manager wanted to personally mentor me. "I'd be honored," I said immediately. A triumphant expression flashed across Michael's face, but I didn't notice it at the time. "Wonderful. But Sarah, this needs to stay between us. Other employees might misunderstand, feel jealous." This was the first major red flag, but I interpreted it as a romantic secret. Of course I agreed readily. "Excellent. We'll start meeting weekly. I'll share insights from my 15 years in leadership, introduce you to strategic thinking frameworks." Standing up, he walked behind my chair, his hands gently resting on the chair back, very close. "Sarah, I have a feeling this is going to be a very enriching relationship." Something about his tone made me shiver, the good kind of shiver. After the mentor relationship started, Michael's behavior dramatically intensified. Every day he would definitely come by, and in our mentoring sessions, he progressively shifted to personal topics. "Sarah, what are your plans this weekend?" "Probably hanging out with friends," I replied. His expression shifted slightly. Concern appeared. "Your friends? What kind of people are they? Do they understand your ambitions?" "What do you mean?" Leaning back in his chair, fingertips touching classic power pose. Consider this, Sarah. You're evolving into a different caliber of professional. Your vision is expanding, your goals are becoming more sophisticated, but your social circle still knows the old Sarah. This hit something inside me. Recently, when I talked about my job and conversations with friends, they didn't seem very engaged. They might hold you back without realizing it, he continued. I've seen this pattern many times. High achievers often outgrow their initial social circles. You think my friends are holding me back? I think you're exceptional, Sarah. But not everyone recognizes exceptionality. Some people prefer keeping others at their level, rather than celebrating growth. These words struck deep. Maybe Michael was right. I see this in you, Sarah. You're special. But precious few people have the vision to appreciate that. The conversations were becoming increasingly intimate. He started sharing from his personal life. You know, Sarah, marriage isn't what I thought it would be. My wife, she sees only the status, the money. She doesn't understand the passion, the drive that builds these things. I'm sorry to hear that, I said sincerely. At the office too, people either want something from me or fear me. But with you, it's different. You listen genuinely. You understand. His eyes were meaningful. That's rare, Sarah. Very rare. I feel the same way, I admitted. Talking with you is enlightening, is it? He asked softly. Because sometimes I feel very alone in this position. Everyone sees the title, the success, but who sees the person? This vulnerability melted my heart. A powerful man like Michael, sharing such intimate thoughts. Another day he made a personal observation. Sarah, has anyone ever told you how your eyes change when you're passionate about something? My face was burning red. What? When you talk about creative ideas, your whole expression transforms. It's captivating. No one had ever noticed such details about me. Michael was truly seeing me. At this point, I wasn't hanging out with my friends as frequently as before. Michael's words were echoing in my mind. Maybe they didn't understand the new me. As my social life changed, time with Michael increased exponentially. After working late, he would always offer to drive me home in his car. Sarah, you shouldn't be alone this late. Let me drive you home. The car rides were intimate. City lights, soft music, personal conversations, a totally different environment from the office. Sarah, he said one evening, driving through downtown, I need to confess something. Very few people in my position have someone they can truly trust. At a traffic light he stopped and turned to face me. But you feel safe. When I talk to you, I can be myself, not just the title. My heart was racing. I feel safe with you too. Do you really? His eyes searching mine. Because I often feel very isolated, Sarah. Everyone wants something, but you're genuine. The light turned green, but he maintained eye contact for a moment before driving. This evening, talking with you is the most relaxed I've felt in months. Arriving at my apartment building, he turned off the engine. Usually it was a quick drop-off, but tonight was different. Sarah, he said softly, tonight was really meaningful for me. I haven't felt this connected to someone in a very long time. Me neither, I whispered. Really, almost surprised tone. Because you're so vibrant, so intelligent. I would think you'd have many meaningful connections. Not like this, I admitted. A smile crossed his face. Not like this, he repeated. That's special, isn't it? The moment lingered. There was almost electric tension between us. Good night, beautiful lady, he said finally. That night, sleep completely eluded me. Was I developing feelings for my boss? In the next few weeks, Michael's presence was overwhelmingly positive. Compliments, attention, special treatment. I felt like the chosen one. But simultaneously, my social circle was shrinking. I started canceling plans with friends because Michael's words were haunting me. Maybe they truly didn't understand my growth. Jessica, my college best friend, sent a concerned text. Sarah, haven't seen you in weeks. Everything okay? Super busy with work, I replied. New opportunities developing. Want to grab dinner this weekend? Need some catch-up time? I hesitated. Michael's advice repeated in my mind. High achievers often outgrow their initial social circles. Maybe next month. Work is really demanding right now. Jessica's response took time when it came. Okay. But Sarah, don't lose yourself in work. Reading this, I felt annoyed. Why couldn't she understand? This was career advancement, not losing myself. But deep down, a small voice whispered, was I losing myself? In the 5th week, physical boundaries started shifting. Michael's casual touches increased, hand on shoulder during conversations, brief arm touches when passing documents. Sarah, you look lovely today, became a regular morning greeting. That color is stunning on you. I was wearing a navy blue dress. Thank you. Navy brings out your eyes beautifully. Has anyone ever told you that your eyes are quite remarkable? They're so expressive. I'd never received this type of compliment before, especially not from someone like Michael. One afternoon, I was called to his office for a project discussion. Sarah, I want your opinion on this campaign proposal, he said, showing me his computer screen. I moved next to his chair to view the screen. He stood up, positioned himself behind me, his hands lightly resting on the chair back. Look at this section, he said, pointing to the screen, his arm brushing against my shoulder. How would you approach this differently? It was difficult to concentrate. His presence, cologne, proximity. It was overwhelming. Maybe we could emphasize this element, I managed to say. Brilliant insight, he exclaimed, his other hand gently touching my upper arm. This is exactly why I value your perspective, Sarah. I turned to face him, realizing how close we were. Maybe 12 inches apart. You have such an intuitive understanding of consumer psychology, he continued, his voice softer now. Our eyes locked. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure he could hear it. Sarah, he whispered. There was a knock on the door. We immediately stepped apart. His personal assistant entered. Mr. Davidson, your 2 o'clock is here. Of course, he replied smoothly, no trace of the previous moment. Sarah, thank you. This discussion was very productive. Leaving his office, my legs were trembling. Had we almost kissed? That evening, I got a WhatsApp message the first time he contacted my personal phone. This afternoon's conversation keeps replaying in my mind. You're truly exceptional, Sarah. My heart racing, I typed and deleted responses multiple times. Finally, I sent something simple. I felt the same way. The response was immediate. I'm glad. Would you like to continue our discussion over dinner tomorrow? Somewhere private, where we can talk freely. Without hesitation, yes. Perfect. I know a quiet place downtown. This stays between us. Absolutely. That night, I stood in my closet for an hour, choosing an outfit. Tomorrow would change everything. The next evening, we met at Troquet, on South Upscale, dimly lit, perfect for private conversation. Michael looked incredible. His charcoal suit replaced with a cashmere sweater and dark jeans. More approachable, more human. Sarah, you look absolutely beautiful, he said, kissing my hand as a greeting. Throughout dinner, he shared incredibly intimate details about his life. His marriage was a mistake made too young. He was staying together only for the children. He had never experienced a real connection until I met you, he finished, taking my hand across the table. Michael, Sarah, I know this is complicated. I know there are considerations, but what I feel for you is undeniable. I feel it too, I admitted. Do you really? Because you've opened something in me I thought was permanently closed. The dinner conversation flowed effortlessly. We shared dreams, fears, aspirations. By dessert, I felt like I'd known him forever. In the car afterward, driving through the city, Sarah, tonight was perfect. But you understand we need to be careful. Company policies, people might misunderstand. I understand. This is our secret, our special thing. I don't want anything to ruin what we're building. A secret relationship felt incredibly romantic, like a forbidden love story. Arriving at my building, he parked and turned to face me. Sarah, tonight meant everything to me. You mean everything to me. Leaning closer, our first kiss, gentle, soft, perfect. I've wanted to do that for weeks, he whispered against my lips. Walking to my apartment, I was floating on cloud 9. Life's greatest love story was beginning. The next few weeks, our relationship intensified rapidly, but it was completely on his terms. Meeting times were always his choice. This week is crazy, maybe next weekend. Locations were always his selection. I know a safe place where we won't be seen. But simultaneously there was constant messaging, frequent office visits, A shower of compliments and gifts. You're my everything, Sarah. I can't function properly when I'm not talking to you. This level of attention was intoxicating. I'd never felt so desired, so important to someone. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the dynamics started shifting. Sarah, you seem different lately, more needy. What do you mean? Asking about my schedule, wanting more time together. I thought you understood how complicated this situation is. I just miss you when we don't see each other. Miss me. With a slight laugh. Sarah, we see each other constantly. Maybe you're becoming a bit clingy. The word clingy stung. Was I being clingy? I don't think I'm being clingy. Honey, I care about you deeply. But this level of dependency isn't healthy for either of us. I started questioning myself. Maybe I was being too needy. The comments became more frequent. Sarah, you're taking this very seriously. Remember, we agreed to keep things light. When had we agreed to that? Sometimes you overthink everything. It's exhausting. You're very emotional today. Is everything okay? Each comment chipped away at my confidence. Then came criticism about my appearance. That dress is a bit much for the office, don't you think? Your makeup looks heavy today. Maybe try styling your hair differently. But mixed with compliments? You're beautiful, but you could be stunning with small adjustments. This hot and cold treatment was confusing. I never knew which Michael would appear. My Instagram posts started bothering him. Why are you posting so many pictures? Attention seeking isn't attractive, Sarah. You went out last night. With whom? That restaurant. Expensive taste for someone your age. I was constantly walking on eggshells, analyzing every action for his potential reaction. When friends tried to reconnect, Jessica, Sarah, lunch this weekend. Before responding, I found myself thinking, what would Michael say? Can't work stuff. Sarah, you've said that for 2 months. What's really going on? I didn't know how to answer. The most devastating tactic, silent treatment. After a small disagreement about weekend plans, Michael completely stopped communicating. No texts, no office visits, no acknowledgement. 3 days of silence. Office interactions were purely professional, cold, distant. Michael, did I do something wrong? I'm very busy, Sarah. Can't discuss personal matters here. Can we talk tonight? I'll see if I have time. No response that evening. Day 4, 5, 6. Complete radio silence. I started analyzing every interaction, every word, trying to identify my mistake. Finally, day 7. A casual office visit. Sarah, how are you? You look tired. We haven't talked in a week, haven't we? I've been incredibly busy. You seem to be taking things very personally, but you completely ignored me. Ignored you, Sarah. That sounds quite dramatic. I've been professional and cordial. He was making me question my own reality. Had I imagined the silence? Maybe you're reading too much into normal workplace dynamics. This gaslighting made me feel crazy. The pattern was established. Disagreement, silence, return with casual dismissal of my concerns. You're very sensitive, Sarah. Not everything is about you. Perhaps you need to develop thicker skin for professional environments. Each episode left me more desperate to regain his approval. When the good Michael returned, the relief was overwhelming. I missed talking to you. Sorry if I seemed distant. Work stress. You understand. I was grateful for scraps of attention, normal affection. 2 months in, the red flags were impossible to ignore. I caught him in lies. Client dinner ran late last night, but his Instagram story showed him at a sports bar with colleagues. When I confronted him, I saw your Instagram. Instagram? Sarah, you're monitoring my social media. That's quite concerning behavior. I just happened to see, or actively stalking. This jealousy is unhealthy. He was flipping the script, making me the problem. Another incident. He promised dinner on Friday, then canceled last minute. Emergency board meeting came up. Later, a mutual colleague mentioned seeing him at an upscale restaurant with an unknown woman. Sarah, you're becoming paranoid. This suspicious behavior is pushing me away. But Tom said, Tom, you're discussing our private business with colleagues. That's completely inappropriate. Again, my fault. Most disturbing, I noticed similar behavior with Emma, the new marketing hire. Same compliments. You're different from other employees. Same special attention. Bringing her coffee. Extended conversations. Same positioning. Standing too close. Unnecessary physical contact. Watching this replay felt like an out-of-body experience. One day I overheard a phone conversation. Another one started Emma. Very young, very naive. Same techniques work perfectly. I paused outside his office, my heart stopping. Love bombing phase went flawlessly. Now implementing control measures. These girls are so predictable, I couldn't breathe. Love bombing, control measures. Sarah was a textbook case. Now she's completely dependent. Emma will be even easier. I backed away from the door, my mind reeling. That night I researched the terms I'd overheard. Love bombing, narcissistic manipulation tactic. Overwhelming the target with excessive affection, attention, and praise to create emotional dependency. Devaluation phase, following love bombing, systematically reducing the target's self-worth through criticism, neglect, and emotional abuse. Triangulation, using third parties to create jealousy, insecurity, and competition. Gaslighting, manipulating someone into questioning their own reality and sanity. Every definition perfectly described Michael's behavior. This wasn't a coincidence. This was calculated, systematic emotional manipulation. I scrolled through months of text messages, seeing the patterns clearly. Excessive praise followed by subtle criticism. Creating dependency, then withdrawing affection. Isolating me from friends and support systems. Making me question my own perceptions. I researched further. Narcissistic personality disorder, workplace predators, emotional abuse cycles. Everything fit perfectly. Michael wasn't unique. He was a textbook narcissistic manipulator. I started documenting everything. Screenshots of messages, emails, specific incidents. If this became a legal matter, I needed evidence. The most painful realization: I wasn't special. I was never special. I was a target, a victim, a supply source. Emma was the next victim. How many had there been before me? Jessica's sudden departure last year, Rachel's transfer. A pattern was emerging. In the next few days, I observed Michael with new awareness. Every interaction revealed manipulation. With Emma, you have such a unique perspective. Most employees here lack your creativity. The exact words he'd used with me. This conversation stays between us. Others might not understand. Same secrecy tactic. With other female employees, subtle undermining. Are you sure about that approach? Patronizing tone. That's an interesting perspective. With male colleagues, completely different demeanor. Respectful, collaborative, professional. The gender-specific manipulation patterns were clear. I started reaching out to former female employees. Jessica responded immediately. Sarah, I've been worried. Can we meet? Our coffee meeting was a revelation. Sarah, I left because of Michael. Similar situation, special attention, mentoring. Then, things got inappropriate. Why didn't you tell me? Who would believe it? He's very careful, very manipulative. Jessica's experience was identical. Love bombing, isolation, devaluation, discard. He tried to warn you subtly, but you were already under his influence. Are there others? Rachel, definitely. Probably Monica before her. He has a type. Young, ambitious, lacking confidence in romantic relationships. The perfect victim profile. Exactly me. Jessica, I need to stop this. He's targeting Emma now. Be careful, Sarah. He's powerful. And he's very good at making women look unstable if they speak up. I started building a case. Documented conversations, inappropriate emails, witness testimonies from Jessica and others. The following week, I arranged a confrontation. I requested a private meeting in his office. Michael, we need to discuss something important. Of course, sweetheart. What's on your mind? I know what you're doing. The manipulation, the love bombing, the systematic emotional abuse. His facial expression shifted instantly. The mask slipped momentarily, showing cold calculation underneath. Sarah, what are you talking about? That sounds very unstable. I heard your phone conversation about love bombing phases and control measures. Brief panic flashed across his eyes before he recovered. You must have misunderstood a business conversation. Sarah, you're sounding quite paranoid. Emma, Jessica, Rachel. Same pattern with all of us. Sarah, I'm concerned about your mental state. These conspiracy theories. Classic gaslighting attempt. I have documentation. Michael, messages, emails, witness testimonies. Real fear appeared now. Sarah, you're clearly having some kind of breakdown. Maybe you need professional help. No, Michael, you need help, and you need to stop. Tactic change from gaslighting to aggression. Listen carefully, Sarah. You're imagining things. And if you continue spreading these ridiculous accusations, I'll have no choice but to question your fitness for this position. Are you threatening me? I'm protecting this company from unstable employee behavior. Emma deserves to know what you're doing. Emma, Sarah, you're harassing a young employee with paranoid delusions. That's a terminable offense. Try it. I have everything documented. Realizing threats weren't working, Michael switched to hoovering. Suddenly he became the loving Michael again. Sarah, I'm sorry. Maybe there have been misunderstandings. But my feelings for you are real. Your feelings aren't real, Michael. Nothing about this was real. How can you say that? Remember our first dinner? The way we connected? You can't fake that kind of chemistry. You faked everything. Tears appeared in his eyes. An Oscar-worthy performance. Sarah, I admit I've made mistakes. But I love you. I'll change. I'll be better. You don't love me. You don't love anyone. That's not true. You're the most important thing in my life. Until next week. Until the next target. His desperation was increasing. Sarah, if you walk away now, you'll regret it forever. No one will ever love you the way I do. No one will ever manipulate me the way you do. You're throwing away something beautiful for these paranoid fantasies. I'm saving myself from an abuser. Final attempt, threatening vulnerability. Sarah, if you leave me, I don't know what I'll do. You're everything to me. Find a therapist, Michael. You need professional help. Standing to leave, Sarah. Please, give me one more chance. I'm done, Michael. And Emma deserves to know the truth. Immediately after the confrontation, I went to Emma. I found her in the break room, looking confused and upset. Emma, can we talk privately? Sarah, yes, actually. I'm so confused about something. I led her to an empty conference room. What's confusing you? Mr. Davidson, I don't know how to describe it. Very attentive lately. Compliments, special projects, long conversations about my potential. My heart sank. The pattern was repeating exactly. But today he tried to kiss me. In his office. When I pulled away, he said I was leading him on and should be grateful for the attention. Same escalation, same victim blaming. Emma, you're not crazy, and you're not alone. I spent the next hour explaining everything. Michael's systematic manipulation, previous victims, the documented pattern. Emma's relief was palpable. I thought I was going insane. Thank you for telling me. We need to report this to HR, together. But he's so powerful. Will they believe us? With Jessica's testimony and my documentation, yes. The HR investigation was swift. With multiple testimonies, documented evidence, and Emma's fresh incident, the company had no choice but to act. Michael was terminated within 2 weeks. The official reason was violation of company policies and inappropriate conduct. But the real victory wasn't his firing. It was Emma's recovery, Jessica's validation, and my own healing. In therapy, I learned about trauma bonding, cognitive dissonance, and why intelligent women fall for narcissistic manipulation. Sarah, Dr. Martinez explained, you weren't weak or stupid. Narcissistic manipulators are experts at exploiting basic human needs, validation, connection, purpose. They study their targets and craft the perfect illusion. The healing process took months, learning to trust my instincts again, rebuilding friendships I'd neglected, understanding that love should never feel like a constant test. Jessica and I became closer than ever. Emma transferred to a different department but thrived. We formed a support network for each other. Looking back, I can see the red flags clearly. 1. Love bombing. Excessive attention, praise, and gifts early in the relationship. 2. Isolation tactics. Encouraging you to distance yourself from friends and family. 3. Hot and cold treatment. alternating between affection and coldness to create dependency. 4. Gaslighting, making you question your own reality and perceptions. 5. Triangulation, creating jealousy by comparing you to others or involving third parties. 6. Future faking, making promises about the future that never materialize. The most important lesson: trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Real love doesn't require you to change who you are, abandon your friends, or constantly question your worth. Real love is consistent, respectful, and empowering. And so, this story comes to an end, but the pain it carries is real and lasting. Behind his mask, there may be charm, but also lies, manipulation, and silence. If you've experienced something similar, please don't hesitate to share it in the comments below or send it to us directly. Share your story, speak your truth, because your voice might save someone else from falling into the same trap. Together, we break the silence. Together, we unmask the lies. And together, we rise stronger.